Hey there guys, how's it going? So I was working out of town today in a place with quite spotty internet connection, and as I was pulling back towards home, the internet came back in. I got a notification from Twitter, hey, Kingdom Hearts JP just tweeted, Kingdom Hearts Unicross JP just tweeted something. Let's go have a look. And as soon as I saw it, I knew this is the day I've been waiting for a long time. TVA, as well as the individual Terra, Ven, and Aqua medals, are going ahead and getting their Supernova Plus upgrade, bringing them back into relevance. They were the absolute hot shot, amazing stuff for a very, very, very brief moment. They had a really awesome falling price deal, of which Terra, Ven, and Aqua were each available individually. And if you got either a combination of one each with 5 traits, or three of the same one if you wanted to with 5 traits each on them, once you had that condition fulfilled, you would get a copy of TVA as well as a trait medal for every single time you pulled on any one of those banners. And I got lucky enough, even as a free-to-play boy, very lucky enough to end up with 3 Terras with 5 traits each, which let me have the TVA, which I never thought would be possible. But immediately after that, they went ahead and released Supernova Plus and upgraded a bunch of old medals, as well as putting out ridiculous buffs to a bunch of new medals as well. So it quickly outshone how amazing TVA was, and I always hoped that eventually we'd get an upgrade to TVA, and it has happened today. So we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at the Roxas Dual Wield EX, as well as the illustrated Sora and Riku Kingdom Hearts 2 version, which are both really beautiful medals that won the popularity contest, if you will, that the different Twitter accounts were talking about a little while ago. And I think we'll start with that. So let's go ahead and switch over to me real quickly here. I'm going to have to move myself, unfortunately, but I'll just sit in the middle here. I'll give you a little history lesson on the history of these 2 medals. So basically, they were released in the sort of Tier 7 era a little while ago. Well, a few months ago now. Basically had some pretty standard buffs as a 6-star version on the side there. So 2 reverse, which at the time, getting reverse and upright buffs, and especially debuffs, was very, very, very difficult to do. So this is actually one of the first medals to do it, I believe. Reverse up by 2, power up by 7, which of course was the cap at the time, plus or minus 7 was the cap. General defense down by 2, which is always handy to have, and power-based defense down by 2. A pretty standard medal for the time, to be sure, nothing special to write home about. Then we go ahead and it gets the 7-star upgrade, and with every 7-star medal, well, every premium 7-star medal, basically meaning almost all the tier 4s and above, it's basically the exact same buffs and debuffs, only with +3 to either reverse or upright, depending on which attribute of the medal you are. So the 7-star version up there is more or less exactly the same. And now we have the Supernova version of this medal. So, for Roxas, the buffs and debuffs last for 2 turns each for this one here. The buffs and debuffs last for 3 turns on the Supernova Plus version. It goes up to +7 reverse, +7 power, and to the enemy -7 general defense and -7 power. So, a really interesting set of buffs and debuffs. Nothing incredibly special, because obviously plus and -15 is the cap right now. Saying that though, if you have extra attack on this medal, you are just about all set in terms of your buffs and debuffs as it pertains to reverse power. Obviously you're missing the reverse down debuffs, so you'll have to have something else to fill in those shoes, but a lot of medals nowadays can go ahead and do that, so definitely decent stuff to have. When you pop the Supernova, you get an additional +3 to your general strength, P, S, and M, which is a pretty interesting buff, I will say. I don't know, it's definitely like the weakest of the Supernova buffs, but it does do a pretty decent hit. And I've also got the multipliers down the bottom there for comparison as well. That 58.79 is honestly nothing to scoff at. That's the raw multiplier without any bonuses attached to it whatsoever. And factoring in the fact that Roxas, as a Supernova, gives 170% bonus when he casts his special attack. It's some pretty insane damage, honestly. I can show you guys the graph in a little bit, but it is some pretty outrageous damage. Same ahead with Illustrated Sora and Riku. It was a medal that actually had different buffs and debuffs, but they've gone ahead and equalized both of their final multipliers, which I find pretty interesting. I guess they want to set them on this sort of evolved medal tier. I don't know what you want to call it, but they both have the same final multiplier, if you can see right there. But the natural multiplier of those medals is a bit different in the 6 and 7-star version, so that's obviously still the same way. Again, very simple buffs and debuffs, but for only 1 turn, the buffs for this medal are actually quite good as an evolved Supernova. So +15 upright, +10 to general strength, -10 to general defense, and -15 to speed. A very interesting set of buffs and debuffs, but kind of helped out by the Supernova itself, and obviously you're bringing in a ton of other medals as well. Both of these medals, of course, have the multiplier being based on how much HP you have, so you should be firing this off with full strength just about every single time. It's really, really freaking awesome. Yeah, just really impressive stuff. If you guys want a screenshot of this, I can take my head away and put that on my Discord if you guys want to see this as it is. But let's go ahead and switch over to the game itself. And if we have a little look, if we go ahead and filter by tier 9 medals right now, you will find that that is now where these guys live. Even though they're only 7 stars, if you don't have the upgraded version, they live in the tier 9 section, which I find pretty interesting. I think it's a symptom of the fact that it's effectively the same medal as, in a lot of considerations of the way the game considers it, it's effectively the same medal as the Supernova version. So they've made the Supernova version be a tier 9, and I guess they would have had to make functionally, well, at least on this page, make it a tier 9 as well. Even though it's not a tier 9 in any other respect, it still has the same 200% multiplier. It's like, still literally says tier 7 right here. It doesn't give you any additional sub-slot points as the regular version, as the regular 7-star version. It's still 0.20, I think, for this medal right here. So it's only a tier 9 in terms of filtering, if you've just wondered where your like 7-star medals have gone. They haven't really gone anywhere, they've just been shifted over to the tier 9 section, but obviously they're not here anymore, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Really interesting stuff. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we try and upgrade it. People are a little bit annoyed about this, but I can sort of see the rationale. Effectively, these medals are very good right now, especially because they're kind of being given out, not given out, but a lot of players could already have these medals for free potentially, so they are putting something of a restriction on that. You do have to sacrifice 5 copies of this medal to upgrade one of them, so effectively to have an upgraded Supernova version, you will need 6 copies of this medal, which is pretty ridiculous. But saying that, we are going to be given a tier 7-star medal every single time we pull from pretty much now on. And if you guys have been pulling a lot of these banners, potentially some of you may already have the conditions met to upgrade these things. I'm sure a lot of the big spenders that just have squillions of each medal will probably have that already. Unless they fell for the trap of basically fusing all their medals together, in which case they might not. But I think this is the sort of thing that we're meant to earn over time. Like whenever you see a copy of this medal, just be like, sweet, hang on to it. If you start getting 6-star copies of this medal, definitely hang on to these, because when you upgrade them, they go from the 3 current traits to the 5 later on. And I assume the Supernova version will be able to take the 6-star version as trait fodder. So even though the medals that you might have right now might have, you know, up to 3 traits on them, definitely go ahead and save any 6-star versions you get, because you won't be able to fill those last 2 trait slots, because they don't exist right now. The only way they're going to exist is when you upgrade it later on. So what I'm trying to say is hold on to your 6-star versions, or you can spend 6 Mickey and Brooms and upgrade them to make this process a little bit faster. It's up to you, but definitely don't go just throw them away as willy-nilly traits or sell them or anything silly like that. Sorry, I forgot. I was going to show you guys the damage comparison between the upgraded medals and the current tier 9 level of power, if you will. So let's just really easily show you guys right now. The multiplier is going to be going from, if you're at minimum HP, 13.09 to 15.47, and again, times by 280%. It's interesting. I guess you're going to have to put magic mirrors into this medal, or maybe potentially use a Mickey and Broom. I don't know how it's going to work. But you're going to have to basically get that guild percentage after 280% once you evolve these guys. 15.47 is the multiplier. Compare that to, let's say, I don't know, a medal literally just released. 14.47. Just pound for pound, this thing has a higher multiplier than a really recently released tier 9. And especially compared to these older ones, like 10.51, you were 11.30, garbage. But compared to something like, you know, TVA, this is hitting a single target for 15.56. This is hitting all targets in the field simultaneously for basically the same multiplier. These things are no joke. Seriously, these things are extremely good current competitive medals. So for those wondering why it's a difficult challenge to obtain them, think of it as basically a 5-pull mercy, and you're getting a bargain, honestly, for how just good these medals are. Super interesting stuff. I'm really glad to see 2 pretty cool medals. One, if we knew this was going to happen, I would have probably tried to get some support behind making like a really weird, obscure medal popular, and see what they would have had to have done as a result. Like what if key art number 1 had won, for example? I really would have been interested to see what happened there. The one with the Roxas taking off his coat. Like, would they have had to have given that medal back out? I would have loved to have seen what they would have had to have done in that circumstance. But anyway, let's go ahead and upgrade the big mama right here. So, TVA with the beautiful plus 2000 aerial ground and extra attack. I've been waiting for this for a long time. So let's go ahead and pop this medal right here. I'm pretty stoked about it, if I'm honest. So away he goes, getting his upgrades. It has been enhanced. Okay. So now we can put another 2,000 chips and dales into it, and let's just go ahead and level it up real quick. Okay, so here it is, fully upgraded to the Supernova Plus version with the new chips and dales in it. An absolute beast of a medal. I'm now remembering that I was going to go ahead and test this thing out before and after on the Shiva enemy, and see if we could take it out a lot faster than, well, I can't take it out right now in 3 turns. But obviously I forgot to do that in my excitement, so maybe I'll do it with Terra instead, because I think Terra Boy here has got, oh yeah, he's got a big beefy amount of damage there, so I might do a separate video where I just do like a before and after test with him. But yeah, let me know what other medals you guys are interested in having a look at. In terms of actually acquiring these medals, the JP version seemed to have some clues on if that's going to be possible for us or not. So if we have a little peek at their notices, we go ahead and have a look at this one right here. Basically, they're going to be bringing back the Terra, Ven, and Aqua draw. Essentially, every single time you do a pull on one of their respective banners, I think you'll be getting a dedicated trait medal for either Terra or Ven or Aqua, just like in the previous time. And it seems like VIP or not, it's a 10 pull mercy for Terra, Ven, or Aqua, which is absolutely freaking awesome. And even better than that, from what I understand, you get a VIP coin with every single pull that you do, and you can spend those VIP coins on the TVA banner, and I think it costs 15 VIP coins to get a TVA medal, which is pretty ridiculous. So that means that a 10 pull mercy for Terra, Ven, or Aqua, and effectively a 15 pull mercy for TVA itself, which I know there's been a lot of good things to spend jewels on lately, but that's something pretty amazing. If you guys have all your bloody Terra, Ven, and Aqua trait medals from a few months ago, and want an actual chance to guaranteed obtain one, yeah, it's going to cost you 45,000 jewels, but the option is there if you do want to take it. But let me know, do you guys think you're going to do that if this comes to global, which I imagine it will. Like, I imagine there'd be no reason why this wouldn't come to global as well. The tweet obviously had that, and it also had a Roxas banner, which I guess to me implies that there's going to be a Riku and Sora version, Riku and Sora banner as well. So every time you do a pull on this banner, you're going to be getting a 7-star version of Roxas and a trait medal for it, which is pretty clever. Basically means that if you already have one, it's a 5 pull mercy to go ahead and get the upgraded version, which is interesting, I guess. But again, that medal does have the value of a 5 pull mercy medal right now, so that does kind of make sense if I'm honest. Or if you guys are lucky enough to have got 6 copies, I guess, of those medals already, then you get it for free. So pretty awesome stuff. I expect we'll see both of these banners tomorrow in our version of the game. Our version of the game has got a story update as well, which I want to talk about that a bit. I think they're trying to catch us up, so I'll probably hopefully talk about that tomorrow. And yeah, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to be trying to chase for one of these upgraded medals or for TVA? Let me know what you're going to do. It's really late, so sorry if I'm rambling, guys, but thank you very much. I'll see you really soon. All the best. Bye. Let's see how much this thing does now. 302 million by 7 hits, so 10 digits. Starting with a 2. 2 trillion damage. Trillion? Billion? Trillion. Bloody hell.